Hi there, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Take 12 with Kate. Today I thought I would address a certain special group of people and give you a few drills to help with your mobility or warm-up for golf season. I love golf, and I played a lot of golf, and I work with a lot of golfers, so I thought this might be of use to everyone. So if you have a 5, 6, or 7 iron handy, then go ahead and grab it. If you don't have a golf club with you, that's totally fine. This warm-up can be used at home, as kind of some mobility drills that you can practice in the off season, or if you want to use it on the range or on the first tee before you hit balls or before you tee off for the day, then it might be a nice idea just to get your body a little bit warmer and ready to go rather than risking injury in your first giant swing of the day as you're trying to impress your buddies off the first tee. So the club can be used for balance for some of the drills. We're actually going to use it to help move us in some of the drills, but again, you don't need a club if you don't have one. We're going to work from the ground up here. So we're going to start with a little bit of ankle mobility. So just standing on one leg, again, your club can be there, or just flip it upside down to help you with balance. And then just press your toes forward as far as you can, and then pull them back. So alternating between those two ranges. We're going to do each of these drills 4, 5, 6 rotations, or 6 repetitions, sorry. Some of them will be rotations, but not all of them. This next one will be, so you're going to draw a big circle with your foot 5 or 6 times one way. And then, of course, 5 or 6 times in the other direction. And then if you prefer just to stand on one foot to work on that balance, then that's fine. If you need that club, once again, always use it. If that's your preference, other side, pushing and pulling the toes back. So ankle mobility is one of those things that's underestimated, but if you don't work on it or if your ankles are a little bit locked up, it's really hard to move properly through the golf swing and actually turn. Okay, drawing those circles. And this can be used by non-golfers as well. These are just a series of nice mobility drills, so whether you are a golfer or not, these are still a nice set of stretches and mobility drills for you to do. Okay, we're going to keep it in a split stance. We're going to start with the right leg back. We're going to move into the calves here. So you're going to press your heel down, and you're going to shift your weight forward or lean your torso forward slightly, but keep your heel on the ground. You may feel already a little bit of a calf stretch here. I know I do. If you don't feel it, you can push your heel out a little bit. So turn your toes in slightly. That will increase the stretch for most people. And then from there, you're gently going to bend that back knee. So just make sure you keep that heel pressed to the ground. So you're going to bend and extend. It's a pretty small movement, but you're actually stretching both parts of the calf. So one part gets stretched with the leg straight, the other gets a bit more stretch, or gets stretched out when your knee is bent. So alternating between those two. Let's do one more here, and then we'll switch to the opposite side. And these ones are important not only for ankle mobility, but also because those are the muscles that help when you're walking all over the course. And I know you're walking, because who would forego the opportunity to spend 4 hours walking around? No one, hopefully. And if you do need to take a cart, then there's still quite a bit of walking in golf, getting to your ball and walking around the green. So it's always a good idea to make sure those calves are nice and stretched out. So heels on the ground, gently bending that knee, keeping the heel down, and then extend. We'll do one more here. Excellent. All right, we'll step the feet nice and wide. Toes are going to point forward for this one. We're just going to stretch the inner thighs. So again, you can have your club in front of you for balance, and you're going to shift your weight forward. You should feel a stretch along the inner thigh of the straight leg, back to center, and then other leg. So we're going to alternate back and forth here, and you can choose the width of your legs. So if you're a little bit more flexible, you can step the feet a little bit wider and sink a little deeper into the stretch. If that feels like too much, the feet can be as wide as is comfortable for you. All right, we'll do 2 more on each side here. Before we stand back on one leg, we'll start with the left foot down. Again, using club for balance if you need to. And in this particular drill, you're going to tip forward, standing on that left leg. Make sure it's straight but not locked at the knee until you feel a stretch right up the back of it. So the goal here is to hinge from the hips. You want to keep your back nice and flat, so you're not crunching or rounding through this. You're hinging. And then release. If you can, keep your back toes face down towards the ground and not let your hips open up. Tough to do, but try. And most of us have tight hamstrings, but in golfers in particular, having hamstrings that are too tight sometimes inhibit the ability to stay down in your golf posture while you're swinging through the golf ball. So that's one of the reasons we're working on this. All right, let's switch sides. It's also a good balance drill if you're not using a club to help yourself. On your other leg, legs straight but not locked, tipping forward, feel the stretch right up the back of it, and then release. So we'll repeat that, moving back and forth through that range. We'll do 3 more good ones here. Okay, last one. Excellent. All right, we'll be standing on that left leg again. This time getting deep into the hip. So as you know, you need to be able to rotate through the hips as you're swinging through the golf ball. So we're gonna do a little drill to help work on that mobility. So you're gonna lift your knee up and make a giant circle backwards with your foot, touch your toes down, and then bring it back. So this one's called a hip hurdler. Basically, you're stepping over a giant imaginary hurdle, back and forth, working all those internal and external rotators deep inside your hip. All right, let's do one more each side. And then switch. Opposite leg, knee up, big circle back, and switch. And again, try to keep your torso pretty stable here, so you don't want to be leaning or tilting. You want to keep the core nice and strong here as you're rotating right in that hip socket. All right, bring it back. One more. Excellent. Okay, just warming up the legs. One more good one here. We're going to do a reverse lunge. So you're going to start with the feet together. We're going to alternate, so it doesn't matter what leg you start with. You're going to step back into a lunge position, sinking until your front thigh is parallel to the ground, if that range of motion is appropriate for you. If that feels like too much, you can stop your lunge at any time or at any position that feels okay. You just want to ensure that your knee is sitting right over your heel. Then you're going to switch. Other leg, step back lunge. Try to keep your shoulders tall so they're sitting right over your hips and not leaning forward as you lunge. Just warming up the legs here. All right, we'll do 1 or 2 more each side. Club for balance if you need it. If you don't need it, arms out or arms folded is a good idea too. All right, last one here. Excellent. All right, so you're gonna put your club aside for now. And we're gonna do what's called a split stance open book. So this one is a good one to stretch out the middle part of your spine, the part that you're supposed to be turning through in your golf swing. So we're gonna start with the right foot forward, left foot back. You don't have to have your feet in line. They can be hip width apart to help with stability. Arms straight out in front of you, and then you're gonna turn to the direction of your forward leg. So in this situation, we're gonna turn to the right with both arms. Then you're gonna open up your lead arm all the way around behind you, and your eyes are actually gonna follow. So you're gonna turn your head and look over your right shoulder, and then reset both arms to the front. So both arms, open the book, look over your shoulder, reset. I'll just show you from the side here. Keep going. And for this one, just a note, you don't have to have the heel of the back foot on the ground. In fact, it's easier if you just have your heel up and your toes down. Last one here. Excellent. Okay, switch sides. So opposite foot forward, split stance other direction, and then turning. Both arms, and then the lead arm. So you're trying to turn through the middle part of your spine here, which is where you should be getting most of your turn from in your backswing and your follow through. You may notice one side you can turn more than the other. That's pretty normal, but we want to try to equalize the two if we can. All right, finish up one last one there. You're gonna grab your club again. This time we're gonna do a little bit of shoulder work. If you don't have a club, then you can just work shoulder circles. So you're just circling the arms or the shoulders back. You can do arms extended or arms down. Either one's fine. If you've got your club, then you're just gonna work a circle. Have the hands wide enough apart that you can work around your head. 4 or 5 times in one direction. Nice and controlled here. So people don't always think about their shoulders in their golf swing, but if you lack the ability to rotate properly, then chances are you're going to lose distance or compensate by leaning back or doing other crazy things with that golf swing. All right, I just switched directions, so you can go ahead and do the same. And don't push through any bony blocks. So if your body's resisting this, don't push through. Just use a nice, easy, fluid motion. Listen to what your body is telling you, and this should warm up the shoulders nicely for you. All right, last one or two here. I like to finish off by going back and forth. If this is appropriate for you, go for it. If it isn't, then again, don't push through any bony blocks. Just to open up the muscles in the chest here that tend to get collapsed forward, just stretch those out a little bit. All right, well, I hope you found that useful. Thank you for joining us for this golfer's edition of Take 12 with Kate. Good luck on the course and good luck with your golf season, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you, and have a great day, everybody.